a car jack. This car jack actually helps you get unstuck if you are stuck. You're also going to start with some fenders. And you can see here that the fender does not actually fit. My frame is not long enough, so it's not going to fit. So I'm going to slap this fender on here, and I'm going to see about grabbing another frame. Here is my next frame. So now I am officially long enough to handle that. I favor the shorter builds. I like short builds. The C button will lift it up so you can take a look underneath. We really don't need that. It would technically work. Let's see. Yep, that would actually work. So we can grab that, and then we can grab that segment and bring it forward. Nope, it was still too short. So one of the other first things you're going to get is a 2x2 frame. There we go. And we now have a nice short platform with the wheels where we want them. Your Q and E keys rotate so you can get things just right. Yeah, that'll do. And we've got plenty of room here in the back to stuff. Now, you're not going to start out with a whole bunch else, and you can see I'm loaded down with all kinds of cool stuff. I do believe you start with one of these bumpers, and that's a good thing to have. What it does is it allows you to hit somebody and not take damage, or at least take reduced damage while dealing more damage to them. And you see how it's got the power score written there and the structure and the mass? This adding parts increases your overall hit points, which is nice. It also gives you more pieces between your critical components and your less than critical components. So these jacks, just a quick note here, they make excellent armor, and they're cheap because you keep getting them. Speaking of getting new parts, don't just sell things right off the bat. You don't want to do that. That's a bad idea. When you sell stuff, you get, I think it's 1 scrap back, and that's it. So it's not economical. And you saw me pull out a fuel barrel here. I didn't quite need the fuel barrel just yet, but I'm going to rotate this and fit it down as low as possible in the most armored place possible, because fuel barrels, while they're super handy because they get you fuel so you can run bigger, better missions, the raids, they explode really easily, and that's bad. When they blow up, you're gonna blow up. You will die when it blows up. Okay, let's see if I can grab another one of these Hornets. I do not have any more Hornets, but ideally I would load this thing down with Hornets and get as close to my maximum amount of power drawn as possible. And I want my weapons to have the best reach possible. So my preferred configuration is actually to bring this down onto the side. Now, don't get me wrong, on the side you can't shoot stuff up top. But if you're facing forward or facing back, they can fire, and 9 times out of 10, that's where you're going to fire. As I move these parts, you can see the grid overlay of where it's going to actually touch and be attached. You want that to be touching as many squares as possible, because if I take this and say mount it over here, if somebody takes this fender out, they take my gun out as well. So you do not want that. Okay, so enough time out here. Let's do a quick test drive. See, it's a bit more sluggish. I've put more stuff on here, it is heavier, and I can test this out on my own frame. There you go. The reason it stopped firing is there's a cooldown time for everything. how many shots this can take. That jack is good armor. And as soon as I get this... There we go. When that exploded, you saw it took out one of my wheels. Those fuel barrels do area of effect damage. So let's stick with this for now, and we're going to go ahead and hop into battle. So raids come a little bit later on, and they take fuel. So we're not going to get into one of those right now, because I'm looking at it as you are just now getting started. And your first mission, only mission that you're going to have available at the moment, is going to be this Get the Machine Gun. And here are your potential rewards. Not the rewards that you do get every single time, but here are the rewards that are possible. You get one of those cord guns, which I said I like, and I mean it. You get some scrap, you get some random part of a common rarity, and a fuel barrel. So while I haven't put on parts that you are necessarily going to have when you first start out, they will be available after your first, maybe second win. Let's go ahead and hop into battle. The queue time has been very short the entire time I've been playing this game, so don't worry about that. You can see my power score at 1200. I'm a good bit lower than everybody else. I could fix that by adding more weapons. I could fix that by adding more armor. And we are in an assault. That's what they call the capture the flag mode. We're going to rush around the side here. Hopefully we won't run into too many enemies. And this gentleman in front of me seems to not know that his fuel barrel explodes when it gets shot. I would highly recommend carrying a fuel barrel with you every time that you go into battle. And that is for one very specific reason. That is getting fuel. That is a big deal. Being able to run raids, they give you probably the best rewards, is worth your time. And we are pretty close to the enemy base, so I'm going to go ahead and head over there. And hope that I don't get murdered on the way. So far, I have not died. I haven't even lost any parts. I have lost some health though, and you can see that. Just gonna sit here and see if I can capture. And you're best off pulsing your weapons because it takes longer for them to overheat if you pulse them, and the weapon spread is lower. There is no respawning in. You sit there and wait until the match is over, and you do want to do that because it gets you a better reward if you sit through this whole waiting period. And that's it, guys. We won. It was my teammates that did the winning for us, but we won, and I got a fuel barrel and some scrap metal. Now, I'm going to hit 2 garage, but if I wanted to continue playing with that same group of folks and with that same vehicle, I would have just not hit back to garage, and I would have queued up for the next one. So let's show you a little bit higher end gameplay. The Murder Buggy EX6. This is my experimental vehicle number 6. And we're going to go out in that. So on this one, I'm just going to go over some of the highlights. Here's a bumper so that I can deal more melee damage. I've got some fenders, and the fenders themselves aren't super useful as far as armor or anything else goes, but they are a premium item. I bought the Humble Bundle that is currently available, and it came with a kit. So over here in the packs, the Thug Pickup Humble Bundle E3 2017, that is what I purchased. It came as part of a pack of all kinds of other good stuff, and it's not just Crossout specific. They actually increase the reputation I get on the way out of battle. So when I do win, I get more for it. And you can see even at level 8, I'm still focused on these cords. They're good guns, and I've got the same configuration still. I've got a few other specialty parts, like this weapon radiator that reduces cooldowns. I've got these machetes here in the back to help me not flip over just in case I would flip over. It'll help me stop from doing that. And they also deter people from attacking me from behind. I've also slapped on as much armor as I can. The majority of this rear portion is just armor. There's, since I've got a tall cab, that's why that's there. And you can see I've also got some upgraded tires, and I've gone with the shortest cab possible. Before we leave the garage this time, I want to touch on factions. So you're going to start out in engineers. You have to get level 10 before you move into any of the other factions. And in each, you've got these different level of manufacturing rarities. And you can go in there and you can craft stuff using like scrap metal to make another cord. So, like I said, it's not going to be very long after you get in before you're able to buy the parts that I just showed off. And it's just the list of things that I can craft. They unlock at different levels. Not all of these will be unlocked when you first get in. I mentioned not selling any of the extras that you get, because you will get extras. I've got several extra cabs. So if I look at this little boy, the 6-pound cannon, I've got 3 of the Huntsman cabins. And it takes 2 of them, which are consumed in the production of this little boy, to make it. And if you do get copper, do not get rid of it. It is super useful. And probably the best way to get copper is running raids. Keep everything you can. As you need garage space, build stuff. So let's go ahead and go into battle. And I'm going to continue to run the Get the Machine Gun battle, just so it's, you know, the entry level of folks. If you get into the higher level missions, you're going to run into more and more people who like to, well, club you. Like clubbing a baby seal. In these missions, you're going to have all of the new folks, because this is literally the only mission that they have available. So it's not uncommon to, say, grab a very powerful gun and slap it on a not very powerful frame and deal tons and tons of damage from a distance, so that the new players can't do anything about it. They just get clubbed to death. If you see a vehicle that's got like a normal human name on there instead of a username, it's very likely a bot. This, I do not believe, is a bot. I think that's just a poor, unfortunate, real deal person. And in my explorations, I have found the best way to take out an enemy is by coming up behind them, taking out their lowermost portions of armor, and then taking out their frame. If you take out their frame, their cab loses hit points a lot faster. So you're more likely to get that kill. Now, you're rewarded the most on a kill, so be aware that kill stealing is a thing, and it is super popular. You can go with the strategy of getting in a hit on everybody that comes through, and you will get kill assists. But it's not quite as good as getting the actual kill. Taking out wheels is also a good way to get going. If you cripple them, they can't run away. And we won! That was an excellent match. It was maybe not the most exciting, but we won, and I got a fair amount of experience for it too. So I feel like that was absolutely worth my time. And if you were quick enough, you noticed that I actually had a fuel can in my rewards, because I carried a fuel can into battle and I made it out alive and we won. All of those conditions have to be met to be able to get it, but you get that fuel. And I can either go into my storage and come down here to fuel and right click on my fuel and pour it into tank, or I can go up here to the top and fill up by just hitting that plus button. So a couple of things that you're going to want to look at shortly after you do get in is not the shop, because the shop is where you spend real currency to get this in-game currency, but you want to take a look at the market. So these are items sold by players just like you They get them as rewards from missions, and they turn around and sell them. You can buy them, you can sell your stuff. The way that I got the little bit of money I have in here was not from the bundle, it was from selling some of my less useful parts there in the beginning. You can sort by category, you can sort by rarity, all kinds of stuff. Just be aware that certain items sell in groups. I cannot sell less than 10 copper at a time. I cannot sell less than 100 scrap metal at a time. So be aware of that. And if you're looking for some inspiration, come over here to the exhibition. You can take a look at all kinds of different vehicles. If you're a proper level, you could even test drive them. Like this. I don't even know what this is, but I've played with it a few times, and it's kind of fun. Yes, all of that silliness. You can actually have quite a bit of fun over here in the exhibition, just trying different things out. But I do believe you have to be level 10 for quite a few of them, like this hovercraft. If I try to take it out, it's going to say insufficient reputation level for one or more parts. I can't drive that. It looks neat, it's pretty in pink, but I can't drive it. And just for your benefit, I'm going to put my Murder Buggy EX6 on the store. If you want to try this vehicle out, if you want to play in this vehicle, go to the exhibition, look it up, download it, put it together, drive it out, and have a blast. Well guys, I had fun. I hope you did too, and I will see you in the next one. Hopefully I will see you in game.